Shalom, Hebrews and Hebrews. This is Oilfield Disciple, and we are cruising with Jesus. Per our daily bread reading today, in Matthew 26, when Christ tells Peter that you will deny me 3 times, Peter says, I may die, but I'm not going to deny you. He says, well, before the cock crows, you'll deny me. So, with that in mind, let's think about that. Let's drive along here and talk about it. I get off this old bumpy road here. I'll just hold the camera for now. Man, I hate having to constantly discuss what's going on in the world being one issue, which is right now COVID-19. I'm getting tired of talking about it. I'm getting tired of hearing about it, and I'm sure y'all are too. But here's the deal: tired of it or not, the battle's at hand. And for the picture I used for our daily bread today, I used the war drums. Anyone who is paying attention hears the war drums beating, playing a tune, calling soldiers to battle. Now, whether you be on the side of Yeshua or you be on the side of the world, I'm not saying that this is the tribulation war drums. I'm just saying we got a battle ahead of us. And like Peter, a lot of followers who claim to love the Messiah right now here in the Western culture. I've never seen persecution. I've never seen hunger, thirst. Really haven't really seen drought or need for anything, I mean, need for lust and desires, maybe, a lack of, but as far as needs, no, they don't. The Western culture, we haven't needed for anything, but we finna get us a lesson in it. And that being said, let me see if I can get the camera where it ain't all blurry. With that being said, right now, when you have what you want, when you have what you need, it's easy to claim Messiah. It's when the walls clamp down on you, the grips of the nation clamps down on us and causes us to declare Christ or the world. That's when we're going to find out. Now, let's look at what it looks like to deny the Lord in 2 aspects. In one aspect, denying the Lord out of ignorance or fear, versus denying the Lord completely and fully. Let's look at those two. Now it says in Scripture that Jesus says, if you deny me before men, I shall deny you before the Father. I've had this video before, I've talked about it before, but let's look at it in more depth. Peter denied his Lord 3 times. Yeshua, 3 times he denied it. All right. First of all, he didn't deny him out of fear of the people. He didn't deny him because he wanted to reject him. Peter denied him because he was hurt and scarred at what had just happened, and that Messiah was not fulfilling what Peter had ran in his mind was going to happen, and therefore that hurt turned into an anger of, I don't know that man. If I knew him, he wouldn't be standing there. He wouldn't be standing there like that. In other words, the man I knew would have wiped all y'all off the planet. I don't know what he's doing. All right, that's not a total denial. That's not a denial in fear or anything else. It's more of a bewilderment of what in the hell's going on. All right, we're fixing to go into some issues here in the Western culture that's going to cause a lot of followers to do the same. And if they're not totally grounded in the Word, then that denial will turn into a complete and total denial. I will deny everything that is good and righteous in the Lord to satisfy my needs and my lusts. I will forsake my Lord, and I will do it on my own. That's going to be the attitude towards a lot of those who claim to follow Messiah, who are following him strictly for what he has for them. Now, if you're following him because you love him, you may trip and stumble, but you'll get back up. Um, my ignorant ass governor here in New Mexico, Governor Lujan Grisham, just frustrates me. Um, for one, she has a hyphenated name, meaning that she wanted to keep her maiden name um, because she couldn't submit to the authority of her husband. Now she's a leader in this whole state. She's the whole state's leader. How does that happen? Well, it's a sign of the times, and it's a sign of judgment on a people. When women are placed as heads over men, it's not. But God's design is not for women to be men's head. But here we are. Um, not only that, she is doing some wicked things in this with this COVID-19. Now, in the Constitution, President Trump handled this right. He got the guidelines set out, and he said, now each one of you governors govern your own people. Govern your own state. That's the way it's supposed to be. We're the federal government. We're here to assist and aid you in doing so. And there's a lot of people giving Trump hell over that right now. Now I'm not. I'm still on the fence with Trump. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I hope he's got a bigger plan than I see so far. Hello. I'm still here. It went dark. Now, since the beginning, I've kind of been back and forth on what's going on here. Y'all have heard me say it. I give y'all updates as I understand it. I still don't think that COVID-19 is all that bad of a disease. I don't. Or flu, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's being used for whatever reason in other nations across the country, or across the world. But I believe right here in the United States, it's being abused to reach and overreach for a huge grab of power by the federal and state governments. Um, and in doing so, a whole lot of civil liberties are being forsaken, are being trodden down. And it's only going to further that I see coming. My dumbass governor has contacted the White House and is willingly give up her people to be tested, um, to have a FEMA camps here to do the testing of mandatory widespread. If you are a citizen in New Mexico, you must have a mandatory um, COVID-19 test done. And then once the vaccine comes out, have a mandatory vaccine here in New Mexico. She said that today in a news conference. Um, now listen to her a little closer than some people did, I think, because um, it enraged a whole lot of people. That's one thing I did notice today in the news conference. Prior to a week ago, it was everybody's comments, kiss, kiss, kiss your butt, kiss her butt, love her, love her, love her. Today it was more like, oh, hold up. We need our businesses open, and we ain't getting your vaccine. You don't even have one yet. Okay, again, how do they come up? How does this new disease pop up out of nowhere, and within 3 months have a vaccine already in progress for it? When we've had other diseases around for millennia, and we can't figure them out. We still don't have nothing to battle against some of them, like cancer, and which I think we could solve cancer real easily, but that's a whole nother story for another time. Since I've been saying for about a week, almost 2 weeks now, I don't know exactly what it is that our governments are doing. I can't put my finger on it, but I know it ain't good. I'm pretty sure it's just a simple take your civil liberties away so that they can shove this vaccine down your throat. That's all I hear out of anyone prominent. Vaccine, vaccine, vaccine. That ain't good, y'all. Um, gun legislation keeps coming up over and over again. Why are you shoving gun legislation at a time of national distress, national emergency? Why are you worrying about gun legislation right now? Focus on the task at hand. Don't try to shove this legislation down our throats while we're not paying attention. And that's what's going on. The American people are so freaking propaganda and scared through the propaganda of the news media and the powers to be that they're not paying attention to what's going on. It's a sleight of hand. Watch the magician's right hand while his foot does the trick. Feel me? You need to be paying attention to what your state legislators, um, at our local government, what are they doing during this? Are they trying to sneak something in? If so, raise up. Yesterday in Michigan, they had a huge march at the White House, a drive-by, peaceful protest, which we're allowed to do under the Constitution of the United States, which has been suspended for now for that right. But there was a huge protest. What will it do? I don't know. I kind of think this is a second phase of Jade Helm 15 that we saw 5 years ago. That was a massive intel gathering. They just mentioned doing something and seeing what the populations would do. Now they're actually enacting a few things and seeing what the populations will do. If the American people respond correctly, respond as those of patriots, we might see this pushed back, held off for another few years. But either way, they're going to continue on with their agenda of completely stripping us of our rights. I heard President Trump the other night say that he bailed out the airlines. Now the United States government, the federal government, gets to have part in their company now, meaning they're part ownership. How does that work? The federal government shouldn't have part ownership in any privatized business and entity, no matter how big or small. That's part of the Constitution too. Regardless of Trump's motives on that, and I understand, hey, we need to recoup a little money that we give to you, but that's not the way to do it. That's just one step closer to totalitarianism and socialism. When the government, the federal government, regulates and mandates how the private enterprise works. People keep saying Denmark is a great example of socialism working. Denmark is not socialist. What they've done is they've federalized all of their private entities, their private enterprises. Go check them out. They are not a socialist government. They are a republic, um, supposedly. But just like us, they've been one step at a time. Their economy went to hell. Government stepped in, and then the government says, "Now I own your business, but I'm gonna let you operate it under my regulations." Um, I don't even get into all that. Anyway, that's not constitutional, and it's not the way we're set up here, according to our constitutional republic through the democratic process. Watch what your state legislators are doing. Um, May 1st, here in New Mexico, I've already seen it, hearing it, that a big rally is being planned to go to our state capital. I don't know if I'll participate in that or not yet. I haven't. I'm praying on it, but I may. Simply to be one voice, really, but mainly an observer to see and maybe talk to some individuals on what their thoughts are. Why are you here? Why are you protesting this? Right now, we're protesting under duress of overreach of government, is what I'm hearing here in New Mexico. That's all the way down here. Here in New Mexico, we've got Santa Fe and Albuquerque, the two largest towns or cities in our state. And from them two, because of their population, they declare pretty much all our laws and regulations and rules. And those people in the cities in Santa Fe and Albuquerque don't think like we do down here on the plains. You and your state may have the same issue. I know it's like that in Virginia. There's a small concentrated area of population and people that are making their laws, and the people of the outlying areas are like totally opposite of what's going on. They don't like that. People in the cities want their guns taken away because they see thugs carrying around guns. Well, out here we all have guns, and it's not for a wicked purpose. Um, anyway, pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. This is a power grab, plain and simple, and it's also an observation and intel um, to see how much they can push before the American people will push back. Now, if they're not careful, be a bloody hell. I don't advocate for rebellion to the point of taking up arms against it, but how far are we going to be pushed? You know, I don't think we understand the ramifications. The average guy that's got his little arsenal and cache of ammunition in his house that says, yes, I will go to war if necessary, and doesn't necessarily think about the ramifications of that. That's a bloody disaster. Who are you fighting? You know, um, I think that probably 30% of our armed forces, men and women, would refuse the order to fire upon American people. But if the American people are firing on them, they're going to fire back. Plain and simple. Um, it's kind of like a chihuahua. You bite me on the ankle, I'm going to bounce you off the wall. Just out of reflex. Uh, anyway, that it's not a pretty sight to think about Civil War 2.0. Be a hell of a bloody battle that I hope does not come. I hope we can resolve this by sheer numbers. We need to quit taking the handouts from the American government. Every time you take a handout from the government or get help from the government, they grow bigger and bigger, and you get smaller and smaller. It's just physics 101. You live in my house, you live by my rules. Anyway, that's what I got on my mind today. Thinking and watching, urging you to keep an eye on yours. And we'll try to cover each other's six. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged, and always be frustrated. This is Oilfield Disciple. I'll catch you on the next ride.